Hey guys, here is how to build a custom carousel in Flutter with no packages. Let's get started. So here's my file structure. I have a main file to display the widget that I'm creating, and then I have the carousel.dart file where we're actually going to build our carousel. First thing I need to do is get some widgets to display in the carousel. Now, you can do this with any widget, but to save some time, I'm going to go to FlutterBricks and I'm going to grab a card for us to use in our list. First of all, I'm going to create that list, just a list of widgets called cards, and then I'm going to jump in, grab, this one looks nice, how about this one? Copy it in, and then I'm going to copy the instantiation into the list a few times. In a real application, you'd probably connect this to your backend or your database, but in this case, I just want to show you the UI, so I'm going to put in some placeholders. The next thing we want to do is create a controller class. To do this, we're going to create a page controller class and also a position variable to track the position of our carousel. You'll notice we used the late keyword in front of the controller, and that's because we're going to initialize it later in the initState method because we need the state to initialize it. And the next thing we're going to do is use a page view.builder specifically, to create the carousel itself. So I'm going to replace this container with a page view.builder. And you'll notice that I set the controller to the page view controller we built, and then the count to the length of the cards. You'll also notice that I created this image slider function that is currently underlined in red. But this is going to return the animated builder that's going to allow us to actually animate the swiping of the cards from left to right. Now, I have to set the animation of the animation builder to the page and then return the widget as the child of the center. Below this is the child of the animated builder. I'm going to return a container with the cards list that we had indexed at the position. This is how we actually display the cards we created before. Now I'm going to run it, and you'll see that it broke. And that's because I made changes to the state here, and so a hot reload won't do. I actually have to use a hot restart. And be aware of that, because there are lots of times when you edit the controller, and you're not going to see the changes through a hot reload. You need that hot restart. Now, what I'm doing right here is changing the viewport fraction, which changes how wide of a space each page is going to take up. And I want that to be thinner so you can see multiple cards on the screen. Setting it to 0.5 should do. Now, you'll also notice that I changed the initial page parameter here, and what that does is change which page the carousel starts on. Later on in the tutorial, I actually went back and changed it to a 0, so leave it for 0 right now, but if you want it to start on the middle page or the last page, you can use this parameter. All right, and now you can see that our page view is scrolling, which is pretty cool, and it looks like a carousel. Now, it's really important from a design perspective to indicate to the user where they are currently in the list and show them how many pages there are in this carousel. Now, the first thing we're going to do is put our builder in a column, which will allow us to place our indicator below it. Then I'm going to wrap it in a flexible widget, and I'll explain to you why I'm going to do that in just a second. Next, below the carousel, I'm going to put another flexible widget, and within that, I'm going to put the indicator. Now, I'd like this to be animated, so I'm going to grab our indicator from FlutterBricks. However, if you'd like to use a material version, you can use the tab page selector widget for this purpose. And I'll link to a video on that in a pinned comment. And one of the cool things about FlutterBricks is it copies the declaration of the widget you're looking for into the bottom of the file so you can edit it how you like, and then it automatically puts the call for the widget in your clipboard so you can put it wherever you want. And voila, here is our indicator. However, you'll notice that when we swipe, it doesn't actually change with the carousel itself. This is because this indicator doesn't have access to the state. It doesn't have access to which page the carousel is currently on because it's outside of the page view.builder. This is where the underscore position element that I set earlier comes into play. To do this, we're going to use the onPageChanged parameter of the page view.builder to update our state in a setState method. And now we can set the current page parameter to the underscore position variable, and the number of pages parameter to the length of the cards array. And now you'll see that it's animating just fine, and there are the proper number of dots for the number of cards that we have. Now we have a problem. This UI will not respond to screen size changes, and that's why we're going to use the flexible widget. The flexible widget is cool because it allows us to define how much space of the column's vertical axis each child takes up. So in this case, I'm saying that the carousel is going to take up 5 units of the column space, and the indicator is going to take up 1 unit of the column space. Now to wrap up, I'm just going to make some small visual edits because I want this to look just a bit prettier. Now, I'm going to fast forward through these, but basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cards here a bit bigger, and I'm also going to change the app bar to fit the theme. So I'm going to fast forward through this, see you at the end. All right, this is future Caleb here. I realized that I missed something very important. So because we didn't add spacing to these cards on smaller screens, they're going to be squished together. To fix that, all we have to do is go down to our image slider function and wrap our return value in a container with a margin property. That'll fix it, and on smaller screens, there will be spacing. Anyways, back to the video. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. If you like our content, please throw us a like or hit the subscribe button. And if you have any specific requests for widgets or other content, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Take care.